We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Twingate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Twingate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
Well, all right, all you radicals, time to come out of your dogma snaggies for at least 1 hour. Eat up your dogma burgers later. Let's get real. Let's have some reality here. We got a lot to talk about. I've been extremely overwhelmed the last several days on my activism front. Before Fukushima happened, I've been an activist here in Utah for decades. I'm on an island here. It's me against the world. I'm not kidding. They tore down my school yesterday against the law, what they did. They broke the law by Frank Lloyd Wright, only Leslie Hodgson. I've been heavily involved. I got written into the contract. They had to save it. I'm fighting with the community, the powers that be, their committees. Even the lead architect tried to argue with me on the top of they were glass, and no, they're mosaic tiles imported from Italy. They brought the artists in from Italy and he put them up. Probably could be Leslie Hodgson, Frank Lloyd Wright's maybe his most important work. They tore it down yesterday and nobody cared. I mean destroyed it. When I got it written into the contract, they had to save part of the top. I said, well, I'll go up there personally and hand chisel it out, which I did Leslie Hodgson's 1905 Masonic Temple, which they all listed as a 1906, which could be the most important building in the western United States. And I can get into a lot of reasons why these things are. I'll do it in my book. I saved it with my mind, then I hung from a rope 7 days a week, 12 hours, then I hand chiseled it, built my secret sauce, put it back together. These people are insane here. This is the Utah Taliban. This is a hardcore attempt. This is not ignorance. This is ignorance with a club. Now, before I get going, I want to talk about New York City, Indian Point, the spent fuel pools, and Fukushima, Japan. As you guys know, I got a lot of whistleblowers with me the entire time. I mean, in the early days, I developed a team because I was it. The only one reporting this accurately in the world was myself. And everybody who's anybody knows that. So they've been with me the whole time. You know, I've interviewed and talked to them off camera many times. I have a whistleblower at Cal Berkeley. I have a whistleblower in Calgary, Canada, in the industry. I have an incredible whistleblower in New York City who worked at Indian Point in spent fuel pools for years, who's been in every spent fuel pool, underwater welders. This guy's been all over in Fukushima. He's been in every pool in Fukushima, pre-Fukushima. Of course, you know, you say, well, what about after? Yeah. You go get in there. You know it. What is it, 30,000 degrees? Let's have a Slurpee. Oh, we got a new report coming out of Alaska. The fish is freaking sick. Oh, it's the FDA? Let's see your data. Let's see your sample set. Let's see your end set. I'm a stats professor. Let's see it. So I've been all over them, calling them. Let's see your freaking data. I want to see it. They have no data. I don't think they even took any sampling. They just put it up. The fainting ghost, place it in the top search engine, the fainting ghost. That's all they do. They don't even try to mask this anymore. I mean, the lies aren't even. They're right in your face. They're like, we can lie right to these people, and these people love the lies. They love them. Tell me lies, tell me swear. I'm trying to do this outdoors, but you know how it is outdoors. You got people trying to cut their grass because they like green weed, spray chemical all over, driving their big diesel trucks, alarm systems, horns, freaking, Rachel Carson. To live on the edge of insanity is not living. It's not living. These people live on the edge of insanity, chasing their tail. My whistleblower has agreed to go on camera finally. He's a brilliant guy. He's been in the industry for years and years and years. He says this, and he's been telling me this the whole time. He's the one that originally broke the story to me when I originally broke it, that the mob was running the so-called cleanup at Fukushima, Japan, which I also understand that over 10,000 workers are dead in Japan. 10,000. There's hundreds of thousands of workers in Japan, by the way. Hundreds of thousands. I have some bootleg photographs I've been trying to verify from another whistleblower inside Japan. My whistleblowers inside Japan have disappeared. Why? They're in jail. Hello, they've had to flee. Mikado's in Hong Kong. They're jailing people. They're going on the backside 13 miles away. They under it? Oh, yeah. Underground. Were the tunnels there before it happened? I believe they were. We know this from the Monty Fuel and number 3s. I'm the one that originally, Shane Russell and I originally reported that in the inception. You got to realize, let's go back. I'm the only one reporting this as full blown out nuclear meltdown, multiple ones. Everybody, go back. I mean, it took a year. I had to waste a year of this just trying to convince any of the fainting ghosts that this was even a meltdown. Now it's just common knowledge. Like, yeah, that's the way it works. Let's go, an arrogant freaking America. Ignorant, arrogant America. Fainting goats on Balco. People can't see, and then when they get retrospect, then why is everybody so far in fucking debt? They can't see shit. None of them. And then you got this propaganda machine you're up against. He says he's going to do an hour interview with me. He's agreed to finally do it. I've been on him and on him. He says this. He says, years ago, they were welding inside the spent fuel pools at number 4. Now, I don't know how this happened. I'm not an engineer, but boy, is he. He'll blow you guys' minds, this guy. What does he do now? He builds solar houses. He's in South America right now. And we're talking a whole group of all his friends and his buddies that all worked in this county for decades. He says they punched a hole. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it welded. Anyway, there was a hole in one of the spent fuel pools at Indian Point. He said for over a year, a big hole, he said the spent fuel water was leaking, and the NRC knew it. Not a little bit, a lot, into the Hudson, which, by the way, that's where the New York City water drinking supply comes from. That's enough right there. He said several years ago an activist attorney in New York took his deposition, a bunch of people, and she tricked them and fooled them, like Arnie Gundershill has. She was working for the other side. That's how these people play. Thank God for YouTube, the great equalizer. Google's trying to freaking squash that. Google playing a serious hardcore game right now with our view counts. You know that, what they're up to. I've been getting emails. Oh, sorry, we screwed up your view count. Sorry, we didn't send out subscribers. Sorry, you're going to have to resubscribe. Sorry, none of my subscribers are getting my videos anymore. And we know because Snowden, that double agent, which he's a double agent. Come on. Really? Now, you think about Snowden. He gets the platform on 60 Minutes. Now, by the way, I have an email that another whistleblower sent to me in the early days of Fukushima, an email from the president of CBS to the executive producer of 60 Minutes. And I have them. They go back and forth saying that if you want to cover up Fukushima and hide Fukushima, you need to do it on 60 Minutes. We know the 60 Minutes is co-opted by the CIA. We know Fox News is Operation Foxconn, the leaner, smaller military. And if you don't believe it all works, you think about right here in Utah. Oh, does it work? We spend the least amount of money per student than any place in the country, bar none. This all happened in the early 80s when we used to be the opposite. We were wealthy, we're poor. It works. The head of the committee yesterday, or Saturday, she's being a smart one, and she's not kidding. This is how dumb these people are. This is the dumb, ignorant capital of the world, and they wear their ignorance with us like a badge of courage. Mike Lee has a very low IQ. He's not an intelligent person at all. These people, and when it comes to art, history, culture, dynamics, they know nothing, absolutely nothing. I proved it in my PhD. I said, you do realize it's Frank Lloyd Wright's only school, Prairie Style. This is Leslie Hoskins' most important work. She says, I'm not familiar with Frank Lloyd Wright as that architect. I'm like, what? What? Is that humanly possible? This is a teacher. So I'm talking to him all of it. As I'm shooting that video, I got lots of videos up there. That Federer is Mike Lee's brother, is the Supreme Court judge, head of the Supreme Court, all placed by Mike Lee. BYU are, and the mosque church, it's turned into the Taliban. For real. I'm sitting right on Hinckley's property. I'm sitting right on President Hinckley's land, who I knew the Hinckley family really well. You know, he would be rolling over in his grave. He tried to fix this. They're teabaggers. They're John Birchers, hardcore. They want their women wearing burqas. And you think I'm kidding? You think I'm kidding? You look it up. And the media here, there is no media because they own it all. Look it up. Some women protested. The women came out very quietly. Not one word, just a little march in their long dresses, their Mormon uniform, I call it. I says, they're going to get all of them. Oh, they did. This is 99.9% white male rent in this state. Now, they put up their false equivalency in Mia Love. What a joke that is. She's the equivalent to Condoleezza Rice, but Condoleezza Rice is the ugliest person on the face of the earth, inside and out. Uncle Tom on Balco, her father would freaking, talk about be sick. These people are sick here. Sick, drunk with ignorance. Drunk. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. You can have a conversation with any of them about anything, nothing. Anybody with any dynamics of mind has left, because this is the Taliban, the Utah Taliban. So they blew up the giant booties yesterday. Now, I got it written into the contract that they had to, brick by brick, remove it. Now, you know I have leukemia. I'm recovering. I've restored tons. I says, I'm not on the payroll. I'm not using anything. These people start calling me out of the woodwork. I'm in critical condition in LDS hospital trying to fight on multiple fronts, trying to get Blue Castle shut down on the green, which I did while critical condition, trying to get San Alfred shut down while on critical condition, which we did, trying to freaking report Fukushima while on critical condition, which I did, with no money, with no nothing, trying to fight the Mormon repressors here architecturally, artistically, destroying them, blowing them all up. The Taliban's taking them all down. Frank Lloyd Wright and Leslie Hoskins work together. The most important architectural buildings in the world are here. I'm not kidding. That one they blew up. So I'm like, I'll get up there and take it apart, brick by brick, piece by piece. This is the most important work. They imported the freaking artist from Italy that made those mosaic tiles to put it up. Just that alone. Kiln fire the bricks. Oh my God! He says, "Oh, they'll explode." I says, "No, they won't." Yo, you got to see those bricks over there. They throw them in the dump. The lead on the job comes to me and he says, "Oh my God, Kevin, there were old growth timbers in the top of that." I says, "Yeah, from the redwoods." Do you know what the resale value? They throw them in the dump. They burned them. These people are insane. They're sick. They says, "Oh, we need a bigger school." Yeah, build a bigger school. Which they're building a bigger school. And the original thing, the guy these are the morons. This guy's a principal that I grew up with. He went to the same school as I did. That school. He tells me yesterday. He says, "Kevin, they originally wanted to put that." I says, "Yeah, they were going to leave this thing at the front." You said, you're the one that had the fit. Why? What does it matter with you? Because they are indoctrinating the freaking, and the populace, they spend the least amount on it, done since the early 80s. When we used to spend the most. We had an incredible educated populace. Now we have the dumbest populace in the world, bar none. These people are pathetic. Exploited labor. It's against a lot of every single labor here, construction, freaking thing. Is it a sanctuary city? On Balco. The entire city is illegals. The whole city. Is it their fault? Nope. The construction industry, which I was in for multiple years, 10,000 stucco jobs here, real stucco, 10 for real, physically with my hands. Grew up in those sand pits. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, and my father. 10,000. They're all pristine all over. All the ones that haven't tore down. The train, the kids' museum, you go in that big, that's my work. I built that out of laughing splash. The restoration of the Masonic Temple, the hand chisel, all of my work. Every single laborer here, every last single one. Cannot speak English, including that kid running the back will turn it down. Cannot speak English. They're being paid cash. All the landscapers, all the construction workers, all the food servers, every single one of them. It's against law. They've eroded the tax base. Why? You don't pay any taxes when you do cash. Is it their fault? No, it's the people paying the cash. So we turned into hairspray hamburger eating fat-ass exploiters. Mike Lee. Remember this about Mike Lee. We're talking about Congressman. We're talking United States Senator. Each separately, President by Carlo. Let's talk about this guy. This guy, while he's running for the United States Senate, his house in foreclosure. His balance sheet, $1.2 million to the back. He's tied in with this guy named Jeremy Johnson, Czech City. The usury complex here is massive. The big advertising you hear on TV and radio all day. Nice guy loans, 641% interest. That's usury by definition. They call themselves Christian. Glenn Beck moved here. Now let's think about this. It's like you're in a relationship, and one's always accusing the other of cheating, and they're venomous about it. Oh, I know you're cheating. I mean, the one that's accusing is always the one that is doing the cheating or getting ready to. They're posturing and grooming themselves. That's the way psychology. We know this is. Glenn Beck goes on thing and starts comparing Obama to Hitler and all these people to Hitler. Let's talk about Nazism, fascism, based on race. That's what it is here. It's all white men. All white men. He destroyed all art and culture. Before he genocided the Jews, he genocided the homosexuals. They have what they call pray away the gay. Now get this. The woman who told me this, educated, she has 2 children and they're gay as gay. My daughters grew up with these kids. They're brilliant young kids. The suicide rate is off the hook because they're taught they go to hell here. You think Michelle Bachmann? Oh, I'll go here. So they have these new, ran by the Mormon Church, 30 grand cost going in, these senators to get rid of the gayness. Hurt 2 of her children. So messed up, so fucked up, just destroys them. They put them on medications. The pill-popping capital of the world. The average person here is on 5 prescriptions here. That's average. Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do? Oh, we pop pills. They are intentionally. Is it ignorance? Yes. Post-ignorance? Not here. They're destroying these things, rewriting history. The Mormons were socialists. Oh, yeah. Hardcore, borderline communists. United Order. Communal. Oh, I grew up in it. These people are trying to rewrite history. They hate art. They want their women wearing burqas. I'm not kidding. Now let's go back to when they changed the law on the African Americans. Now how did that possibly happen? These people are hardcore racists. The Mormon Church, the hierarchy of the Glenn Becks of the world, the far right. And if this Bundy guy down there doesn't prove it, I warned you, that's how they all think. We hate the federal government, yet they mooch off the federal government every chance they get. Mike Lee's best buddy, who lives next door to me, grew up with me, the Gibsons, drained off the greatest wetland. They altered the path of the Ogden and the Weber River, the great, incredible river that dumped right behind my house into the Great Salt Lake. It's the greatest marsh on earth. $10 million in corporate welfare. They own very, very little land. These people call themselves teabaggers. 10 million, corrupt. Nobody holds their feet to the fire. Nobody does anything. Attorneys, cotton ball pussies here. These attorneys are all in. It's the giant club. It's worse than the IEA cover-up of the nuclear industry. Lock, stock, barrel, they got it. They're tearing down some of the most iconic, incredible, and there's nobody here to defend. So they call me, I'm out there, I'm like, well, I'll take them. Oh, no, we're going to do it. You saw on that video how they did it. He swaps those down, drops them. So sure shit, all these people that are on these committees, the architectural committee, all of them, They're all arguing with me. And I'm like, no, sure shit, we go over there. Little teeny, incredible mosaic tiles. I says, I told you fuckers, blowing them up like bombs. We're supposed to reconstruct something out of that, and I don't even get paid. It's so fucking sad. Like I said, these are the same people that killed the cut down the oldest tree on Earth. Now let me talk about that so you guys can understand that. The Bristol pines on the Utah-Nevada border are the oldest trees on Earth. About 15 years ago, a professor, academia again, here, which is totally cast, they're arrogant ignorance because it's one-party politics. With absolute power comes absolute corruption. And it's closed caucuses. They do not have open primaries, and the Republicans win every single thing because the Mormon Church tells their flock. They have blinded and indoctrinated these people on Balco. And this is a sick, radical regime here, a radical regime. Listen to Mike Lee's statements about freaking birth control yesterday. These people are insane. Mike Lee, the first sitting United States Senator in United States history to have his house foreclosed while sitting. He rants off. You could see the interview with me. He didn't know what Fukushima was and go on this incredible rant about cutting subsistence. I told him in the after, I says, you got $600,000 in a federal bailout. Why is he saying that? That's a fact. CNN catches him up here at Snowbird after he goes out with some lobbyists up there. This guy's the biggest fraud, and that's saying a lot. The biggest fraud, and everybody just sits back. Closed caucuses, handpicked by Carlo, handpicked by Judge Alito, who's a hardcore radical. But let's get real about the United States Supreme Court. It's an illegitimate court. Not my words, Justice Breyer's words, tribe's words. The two ideologue, hardcore, neocon, nutcase senators, judges, were appointed by a president who did not win. Alito and Roberts are hard. You think when Roberts read that and Obama caught him, a Freudian slip? I don't think so. These are hardcore, radical Taliban. These are the Taliban. These people have their way. And you think I'm kidding? Look it up. They excommunicated all those women. I know a couple of them. I told them. So get ready, because the lawsuit's coming. Under the federal act, the Nonprofit Act, number one, a church organization, any organization to have nonprofit status, cannot discriminate. That's federal hardcore law. So the Mormons are hardcore racist. Hardcore racist. And so in the 70s, in Africa, some guys found a Book of Mormon. There were no Mormon missionaries there. And they started organizing. They didn't realize that they were racist. So they started organizing a Mormon. They're writing letters back and forth to a guy named Edward Taft Benson, who was a hardcore John Bircher, hardcore radical Talibaner. They're writing letters back and forth. Oh, yeah, how great, yes. And they talk like this. Oh, hi, and the women have fake voices. They're like, oh, hi. I mean, it's so outrageous. So what happened? These people build up this community, the Mormon church in Africa. Got bigger and bigger. And, oh, we want to come to Zion. We want to come here to Zion, because that's what they did. That's what the Mormon kidnappers used to do in the early days, including in my family, including in northern Denmark. They would go in, they would prey on the people that are down and out. That's why we have so much mentally ill here. We have giant mental ill, and we just put them in jail here. We haven't. Because that's the people they recruited. You know, the philanthropists of this town, you read into their journals. I didn't believe a word of it, but I know it had to be better than this. So they came. And ended up being the grandest, most vast natural resources on Earth. These giant fortunes rose up here. These people organized this, oh, we want to come here, we want to come here. So they came here. And they're like, what do you mean we can't hold the priesthood? And what the priesthood is in the Mormon church, that's all the power. And which is pretty well everyone. They start grooming you at 12 years old. Anyway, the priesthood is the men. You know, there's separate meetings that run, and that's all of them. So how come we can't hold the priesthood? And without holding the priesthood in the Mormon theology, you can't do anything. I mean, they make all the rules, they do everything. Because you're black. What? That's against the law. You can't have tax-free and discriminate. That's against federal law. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars in back taxes, these fuckers, though. Hundreds of billions. So they sue. The Mormons are going to lose. Of course they have a revelation. God comes and speaks to them, of course, because they only understand one thing: money. Oh, the other end, same thing's going on with women right now. These women are still going to sue, and they're going to win. Even with this hijacked, idol-log, nutcase court, they'll still win. And the Mormons are going to be scrambling. They're scrambling right now. It's a sick, and it wasn't like this. When I grew up, the Mormons were not like this. They were not. They were the opposite. They're very true Christian, kind, loving, amazing, wealthy, sophisticated, beautiful people. This is one of the wealthiest places in the world, maybe the wealthiest place in the world when I grew up. Incredible people, amazing. The most beautiful women in the world were here. I'm not kidding. Unbelievable. Not now. They tore that thing down yesterday. Now back to my whistleblower. I'm going to go to New York in about 10 days. I don't know, 2 weeks, whenever. He's agreed to go on camera with me. He says, I can't take it anymore. I saw your report about Indian Point. He says, spiked tritium levels. That means there's a new leak. Yeah, absolutely. Being reported out of their wells. Even the RC media is reporting, even in New York, it's Sesame Street culture thing. Like, yeah, we're serving coffee to Europeans. We're all getting rich. Ha, sure you are. Chase, sure, tell some more. He says, well, I got to go on camera now, Kevin. I says, yeah. Let's do it. He says, for years and years and years, they would go in Japan. He says, I've been in the SPENT fuel pools in number 4 many, many times. He says, they're a disaster. He says, we have to go in there, they scuba, they have to do the underwater welding. That's what they've done. This is a business, that's all he's done for decades. Worked on SPENT fuel pools. He's been, you name him, he's been in them. Every one of them. He knows in there. They've all quit because of the corruption. The whole herd of them have all quit a few years ago, because of the corruption. He says, he's the one that first alerted me that the mob is running over there, how the mob is ran by the Department of Energy in the United States. And he says, I can prove that it is. And I can tell you how it works. We would get a protocol sent to us when we would go over there. From the Department of Energy, through the mob, what we had to take with us. Cases of Crown Oil whiskey. Cases of this, and this, and this. That's who runs the show. It's been organized by the IAEA, the UN, which is the Department of Energy. This is so corrupt, and this country has turned so corrupt. And everybody in this country is in hardcore denial. Hardcore denial. And if you don't believe me, you look up at the debt. I want you to look up the debt today. See where it's going. Nobody even had a conversation about it. Look at your own balance sheet. Look what's going on to the tax base. Oh, we'll be at full employment, I see the Obama administration. Figures don't lie, liars figure. It's how they count it. They changed it grotesquely. It's like QE1, QE3, QE4 would have been against the law until Bush freaking stole the election and put pencils through. They turned out changed everything. We are a republic. We are a republic with a constitution. That's what we are. Without the Constitution, we are no different than the very system that we fought against, a system of royals, a system of elitists that we feed into. Operation Foxconn, for us, the ignorant, as we dummy down the freaking education system feeds. You listen to every word that comes out of Fox News, which there's no doubt in my mind is totally funded by the CIA, the military-industrial complex. This is not the United States anymore. The day they signed it, the day Bush stole the election, mission accomplished. Over. Done. Daddy Bush, Prescott, Hitler Bush, Glenn Beck going on and comparing these people that went, look, fascism is based on race. Anti-woman, anti-gay, anti-art, anti-anything creative. It's anti-enlightenment. It is usury. Utah was the last state to get rid of usury laws. What are the usury laws? These people that claim that Christians don't even know what usury is. It is the cornerstone and the pillar of all Christianity. To exploit people for interest is usury. 6% of prime was the law here until the mid-'80s. Prime zero. Nice guy loans, which that's how Mike Lee got himself in financial trouble. That's how both attorney generals, which have been already found by their own parties, committing many our ex-attorney general, who's walking around Chicago, is on tape offering a $250,000 bribe by a guy in prison on one of these buy here, pay here's. The city attorney general, Swallow, had a sign on his door, for sale, was found guilty of obstruction of justice 7 times, taking a $50,000 bribe. Mike Lee has already been found. Jeremy Johnson's in prison, squealing like a canary. I know Jeremy Johnson. I know him. Squealing, singing. He says that Swallow filtered hundreds of thousands of dollars illegally against federal campaign law to Mike Lee. Mike Lee's house is in foreclosure while he's running. The Tribune, the Deseret News, none of it reported. How is that possible? Because they own the media. They've taken over the media. There's no media. These are fainting goats here. This is the Utah Taliban. And they took down the giant Buddhas yesterday. And I'm not kidding. That's the school I went to, my father went to, and it has nothing to do with that romance. It has to do with the importance in a lot of ways. Architecturally, historically, it is like taking down, it really is the equivalent of taking down the Empire State Building. It's bigger than that. And I'm not kidding. Didn't have to happen. The resale value on the product, on the brick that could have been resold, I was in that industry for decades. They could have raised enough money to build 8 schools. The National Endowment for the Arts, the Leslie Hudson Foundation, the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation, I was in contact with them all. They says, whatever you need, Kevin. Oh, our money's there for you. Nope. So they spent taxpayer money when they didn't have to. Tear it down. They want their women want workers, and if you don't believe me, look at Mike Lee. Mike Lee showed to J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan got the federal bailout. They filled their $600,000 to Mike Lee while he's introducing a balanced budget amendment on the floor, while he's holding up Ted Cruz on the floor. $1.2 million, and from what I understand, he's living back in the house illegally. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent people that go into prison. There are people in prison over this campaign. The guy who wrote the article said he showed it to a federal prosecutor, and he says, "Wow, how come he's not in prison? These are things guys go to prison for." Not Mike Lee. All his brothers, head of the Utah Supreme Court, they have this captured lock, stock, barrel. This is the Utah Taliban. It's happening all over the United States. Operation Foxconn is feeding every word that comes out of them. You think about it. Middle age, and then I love it. They find these, fairly attractive girls on the outside exterior, which there's nothing attractive about them. Dana Perina, she's from here, right here. I know her whole family. Bush is dumber than the stick. Remember when she was making her statements about North and South Korea and she didn't understand why? She's dumber than dirt. These people are freaking pathetically stupid. Ignorant. I'm not talking about their IQs. I'm not where I am. I'm not talking about their brains, because the one who told me I'm not familiar with it, she's an intelligent person. She's one of the smart ones. But the education system has been destroyed for so long. These people don't know. It's like Jesse Ventura. It's my favorite. That's what America's turned into. These people are getting rich because you've got a whole populace that was so lazy in school, so lazy in their whole lives. They turn into 40, 50, 60-year-old people, especially the men. They're sitting around, Jesse Ventura on Larry King, Geshe, Geshe, and this was recently, and he sells millions, but this is after he's governor, after he's going to run for president of the United States. I mean, this is how pathetic this is. Larry, I just found this out the other day. When they tried to kill President Lincoln, it was conspiracy. They tried to kill the Secretary of State. They tried to kill him. I'm like, did you skip the 4th grade? This is over and over. It's like, you'll talk to people here about Bill Gates. Bill Gates stole everything. He never invented one thing. Yesterday, the article comes out that Americans believe that Apple is one of the top 10 American brands, when there's not one single thing American about them. They use slaves in China. People walk out. It's even some of my friends that are artists and one of the people that I'm acquainted with, they start sending me shirts and stuff around, and they're promoting. I'm like, look at the tag. You really going to promote stuff with freaking Bangladesh tags on it? Are you serious? How is that possible? It wasn't that long ago that this country absolutely hammered Kathy Lee for her sweatshops. Now, all in. Lock, stock, barrel. You know, somebody says, "Oh, Kevin, you're making money off your show." Are you kidding me? The work that I've done in the last 3 years, my work as an activist, there should be hundreds. Let's talk about it. At the same time, I get the cows kicked out of the Energy Solutions dump site by myself. I'm fighting the Energy Solutions dump site who are bankrupt, who's storing the world's nuclear waste, who's leaking all over us. I'm fighting the military burn plant out here who's cheating like crazy. I'm fighting the architectural historical. I'm fighting trying to protect the art community. I'm trying to fight the freaking whole Utah Taliban. I'm trying to take on the nuclear complex at the Fukushima level. I'm trying to shut down Blue Castle on the nuclear plant. They're trying to do all this at the same time. One single person. One. And I'm up against people. The lead architect on this thing makes $150,000 a year. Clueless. I'm doing it all for free. Why critical condition? I had no money. I broke up my fucking ass because that's what leukemia does to you. People don't get it. People do not understand the way the system works. Obamacare was nothing but a giveaway to the insurance companies. I like how these people get all wound up about it. It was a giveaway. I got cut off my insurance. What they do when you get sick, I've been a millionaire up and down several times in my life. Self-made. I was on Wall Street in the 90s. Very responsible trader. Did things, I hedged portfolios. Auditions for Lung Association, different organizations, but I'm very responsible. I walked from that freaking place because I couldn't take the non-performance-based, the corruption that was starting to happen. Came home, a lot of my family all started dying of leukemia. Boom, 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 boom. Including the girl that I was involved with at the time. Tragic, horrible. Both. I was shattered as a person. Come home, watch this nightmare unfold, and I get leukemia. I fork over. The average treatment for AML leukemia is $1.6 million. And if I see one more person send me this guy in Texas, right here where I'm sitting, there was a really famous philanthropist. I'm friends with their family. And that's what philanthropists do. Their children blow all the money. They write endowments and they write foundations just like that one out there. There's a giant foundation to protect all his work. Their kids don't give a fuck. They've moved to Coronado, Manhattan, and their friends is robbed, and they live like elitists and just rob all the money. When it's written, there was a giant endowment written to save that. I went to them. They didn't want to talk to me. They were too busy spending their money in the south of France. That's what these people do. When you get sick, I don't give a fuck how good of the insurance you got. Most insurance have $1 million copay, cap. A lot of them have $10, $15 freaking copays. The average, which I hear is higher than that now, $1.6 million. I was given too much to live. I was fading away, dying fast. In order, the way the rules is you got to fork over everything you got. You can keep your house, one car. That's all you can keep. Right as I got the cows kicked out of the Energy Solutions dump site, which is a Bundy clan, freaking fundamentalist, hardcore fucking Mormons who are frauds. They're all frauds. They're all frauds. When I was they cut me off the next day without even telling me. I'm cut off from the hospital. The hospital's having a fit about it. They cut me off. So here I am, naked. That's all right. I've been naked before I was born naked. All these people wrap themselves up in the state flag out there. Well, the flag that hung on the flagpole, and they used to put it on the wall. They had auctions. They had to, people could go through there. They're selling everything. I have a big thing about the last one through here. We'll find the best stuff. So I wait till there are hundreds and hundreds of people. I go through. On the floor is that flag. It's laying on the floor, right there in plain sight. You can see it's the flag. Hundreds of these teabaggers, hundreds of these wrapping themselves in, are walking over the flag for days. They're stepping on it, walking. I pick it up. I say, this is the flag. For decades, Ryan. Give me $1. I have it. I found a banner laying there on the floor, hundreds of people walking it. The Martin Luther King quote, giant banner that hung in that gym for decades, talking about courage and talking about when is the time for courage, the time to do what is right, always, no matter what. I hung it on the fence out there while they're tearing it down. Read my book, went on these incredible rants while the fainting ghost just looked at me. Teachers coming up, God, Kevin, I didn't know. What do you mean? You worked here for 26 years. How can you possibly not know? Oh, he's looked up there how magnificent and beautiful it is. I says, yeah. It's like going to the MoMA, taking Andy soup cans off the wall and burning them. It's like taking American Gothic, Grant Wood, and burning it. It's like taking Norman Rockwell's finest piece and burning it. It's like taking the Hudson River's finest piece and burning it. For real, I'm not kidding. And they just sit there like fainting. Go, you saw it. I put the video up. You can look at it. So you can pull back because all people want to do is suck my brain. They want to say, watch knee-jerk. Oh, Kevin's going to do all the hard work. He's going to do all the reporting because that's what I do. That's what I've done for years because I've never wavered. You know, you go back to my ex-wife. You go back to my ex-girlfriend that I was involved with, and who, by the way, is an incredible model in Los Angeles who's been in Playboy twice. You know, they left me because I've refused to waver on human rights activism, on anti-usury, in the purity because I know what's wrong and right. I learned it in that place, in that school. My second-grade teacher was the Secretary of Education's wife. Brilliant geniuses. The first school district in America that celebrated freaking Earth Day. That's who we were. We were rich, filthy, stinking rich. I mean, you think about a school district that brings in Frank Lloyd Wright and builds his schools? Leslie Hudson? Think about it. Imported. When they restored Ogden Heights, gilded in gold. Literally. This is the wealth that this community had. Now we're the poorest district in America. People don't even know what the accomplishment is. Rob Bishop won't even speak to me this hairspray. These people are morons. It worked. Not going to happen. Could happen. It worked. The cancer capital of the world in Utah. I was head of our support group at LDS East 8 Bull Mill, which has nothing to do with the Mormon Church. The Mormon Church needs to take their fucking name off. It's Old's Hospital. It's brand new. They restored it. It's Old's Hospital in the Western United States. It's grand. By the way, those neighborhoods, you could have bought a house for $10,000 in the avenues of Salt Lake City in the 1980s. It was the most hardcore crack houses. LDS Hospital was in disarray for decades. Most affluent communities in Utah now. The hospital is spectacular. McClack-D right here, McKay-D is the most horrible hospital in the world, and federal funding, $1.4 billion. Don't walk in it. They will kill you. From what I understand, they recently killed somebody in the emergency room, their security over there, for nothing. That's what they do here. They kill people left and right here. Because they're out of control. There's no checks and balances. And the populace walks around. I'm head of our support group at LDS. I was. I'm not now. They have caseworkers down there that are totally clueless. The doctors are incredible. The hierarchy down there. People come into those hospitals. I've seen it over and over. And AML leukemia, the survival rate is very low. Very low. These people come in there, it's God's will. And I always have them read East of Eden, Tim Shelley illustrations. God help those who help themselves. You better be ready to fight. So they watch me fighting intensively. I told them, I'm not going down taking the call third strike. I'm going down swinging hard. I'm intense in my fight, hardcore intense with the truth in an intense fashion way, which I learned in that school. I learned from everybody that was in this town, these incredible people. They're all gone. So I fought, and these pacifists, oh, God's will. They get mad at me because, young girls will come in or whatever. I'm like, get ready. You're in the fight of your life, and let's fight. Let's do this. Let's get intense, and let's fight and save your life. They don't want to hear it. So there was a huge group of us, and a lot of them took it on in the passive way. God will freaking handle this, and they refused to fight. They got their spouse. You know me. I started hiking against doctors' wills. I did everything intense. I changed my diet. I changed everything. Scared straight, I'm Balco. This disease that I have is less than a 3% chance. I got post-Fukushima, and we know now that we had a predisposition. We know Utah got hammered the hardest. Boise, Idaho, the only place right here that issued a warning was Boise, Idaho water. Many thousands of times they detected. And boy, did they take some shit for that one. Huge group of us got cancer at the same time. One person that I know fought intensely like me. We're the only two alive. I'm not kidding. There was a group of 30 of us that I know personally right here in our little community. We all got sick at the same time. Leukemia, brain cancer, hardcore radical cancers. They are all dead. Every last single one. This doctor in Texas, right here, famous philanthropist, he gets leukemia at 85 years old. I keep laughing. There's no saving a person with 85 years old. It's impossible. It's the normal death process. He's the end of his life. Filthy, stinking rich. This Texas guy gets hold of him, milks him out of $3 million before the family finds out. Oh, this guy in Texas messed with the wrong people this time. These people they're going to go after him hardcore. They'll bury this guy. I mean, you're talking some of those powerful philanthropists you're talking some of the richest people in the world still are involved in this community. This was one of the richest guys on earth. His family, oh boy, did they mess with the wrong dude. And they've got all the connections. Unlike me, I've been trying to get attorneys to help. By the way, I'll be in San Diego for the USS Reagan hearing, which I was there all summer for you fainting ghosts. And let's look, they scrubbed down the U.S. Reagan. What do you think those photographs are? By the way, there were 8 ships in there. And by the way, the Admiral of the Navy, and I have all this, by the way, Shane Russell gave me the most important document, FOIA document, research document, has been compiled by a guy named Shane Russell in Calgary, and myself, from day one, in a PDF file that, I think this freaking, whatever his name is, no, that's a joke. This is the most hard, I have it, and I'll be putting it into the New York City Public Library's archives, and backing it up every place I can. I have it. Yeah, I'll put out a book. Yeah, when I can find the money for a publicist, when I can find the money for an editor. You know, I would think after 3 years of me telling all this, an incredible actor D here, making people multi-millionaires, sell your gold at 1900, buy Tesla at 15, which I know people did it. Short silver at 47 and the triple leveraged. Buy the Apple derivative at 260 when I went to 480 for $30 and 6,000. So you fork over all your money to go into those places. You still have a copay. They put you on Medicaid. Every single person that goes into ACUTE automatically goes on Medicaid. They have all these bone marrow transplant units have nothing but social workers that work with Social Security. Social Security fucked me over. I was so sick, I couldn't fight with them, and I couldn't deal with them. I was so sick, and I couldn't argue and fight with them. Fuck them, I don't want your money, fuck you. Which, I paid in so much money into that system in my life. Nothing. So I've done this with no money, fighting for my life. So I get a guy telling me this idiot in Paris, this guy in France, and I may fly over there and just kick his punk French fucking ass. Denard, Ronaldo, or whatever this fucking est-ce que vous parlez français motherfucker is. He's been posting around Facebook and YouTube that I'm a profiteering off these shirts. I want people to know the shirts. Eric Jordan designed my websites. Eric Jordan's the world class, probably the number one graphic designer in the world. Won every award. He's the video game guy. He busted out of the complex because he has children and bolted out of the United States, out of L.A., and went to New Zealand. He did all this. He built my website. These shirts are a group that are anti-usury in Los Angeles and or New York. Every penny goes to fight the usury complex, the shirtwaist fire complex. They're made in Los Angeles. They're made by highly well-paid sewers. The cotton is tracked to the field. The co-op farms in Georgia that pick the cotton, these are well-paid, legal, American citizen workers that make a lot of money. That's what these shirts is all about. He's calling me, what? I've got AML leukemia. It's like, what's her name says, when I put up that video of the Flash over there, I don't know what that fucking Flash is, but it's very fucking real. She's going after you like going after the Mother Teresa of fucking the nuclear fight. Yet these fuckers will go after me. Helen Caldicott went after me. Chris Busby went after me. Arnie Gundershow went after me. I'll tell you why they all went after me in the early days. Hardcore, they go after me. The media hates me. The Beyond Nuclear, the Ralph Nader. I stayed with the Ralph Nader people in freaking when I led the Million Mask Man March, by the way, with millions of people around where I led it. John Anthony Folkhurst organized, and he came to me, Kevin, and I led that whole march. Down Constitution, down on a Tuesday with a police escort. It was giant. It was massive. No media, freaking none. That's all right. It's recorded in history. No media. The death of Aaron Swartz, no media. I was in Williamsburg the day he died. I remember I broke down crying that day. My daughter, she says, "What is the matter with you?" I said, I don't know. I'm just freaking out. He died January 11th, same day my father was murdered, January 11th. No media that Mike Lee's house is in foreclosure. He got a $600,000 bill. I need a teabagger. $600. No media that He committed all kinds of campaign contribution fraud. It's all over out there. It's right there, yet nobody here because they don't care. I caught right here, Energy Solutions diving naked with a video of a reactor hot through a residential against state law, massive against Senate, all the major media, nothing. Before Fukushima happened, there's a famous video I shot of a crippled horse out there in the desert. It's a felony. They just got done passing a new law that's a felony to abusing an animal. You see it, the horse is starving to death with a baby out there, broken hoof, most grotesque abuse you ever see. Sent the media all over. KSL put it on their webpage. It was up. I was interviewed, the lead story on the 6 o'clock news. People need to go to jail. Get a call from the news desk. Says, we're taking it down. Why? The rancher is a high-ranking Mormon. Pulled it down. He got away with the horse starved. So I called every anti-animal abuse organization, all these societies, and societies all over. They're all grandstand, and they're all talk. Let's go out there and save the horse. Nothing. Wouldn't he call me back? They're all frauds. The entire fucking country is corrupt. It is a fraud. $18 trillion in debt, and we're just in denial about that. Oh, the dollar's going to get crashed. The dollar already crashed. The dollar crashed in 2003, 2004. It's actually gotten healthier by default because of Europe's problems. The job market, the participation rate is the lowest since 1979 for the opposite reason. Why? To get counted in unemployment, they changed the way it's counted. You have to be drawing unemployment. People's unemployment ran out. Everybody I know in the construction is people that spent 20, 30 years building up these incredible skills and crafts and careers as they just opened the floodgates to the illegal labor force, not the illegal labor forces, and paid them cash. Still going on. There's a guy named Greg Shaw out there framing out right by my house. He was a circle runner, lives up in the valley. His name's Greg Shaw. Lives in Ogden Valley. He's got a whole crew of illegals. This guy is so corrupt, and they call themselves good Christians, exploiting, paying cash to these illegal laborers, just destroying this economy. No tax base, destroying it, looting it. They have no skills, they have no craft. They never apprenticed in it. They don't even know how to do any of these things. The quality construction is horrific here. Horrific, molded up nightmare. All over the United States. They open the floodgates. So who becomes the contractors? Who becomes the landscapers? Who becomes the restaurateurs? Good exploiters. People that are good, the Mike Lees. Wear hairspray, the con men, the frauds. They're exploiters. Con men. House salesmen. They take the field. So all the crafts and the skillsmen, they lose everything. Everything's taken. I know them all. They turn to freaking alcohol. They get their wives, leave them for no fault of their own. Their businesses are destroyed because you cannot compete. How do you pay your taxes, do everything right, and which is right? Which is right? You should be paying back into the very system that you freaking total anarchy. These people all commit suicide. So they changed the way we count suicide. I'm friends with the freaking major morticians here, the company that runs it all, which is a philanthropist family. He actually married me the first time. I says, God, when you got an undertaker marry you, it doesn't count. You're doomed. He's a great guy, but they changed the way they count it here. These people all take a bottle of freaking pills, drink some whiskey, and don't wake up. They're killing themselves in droves here. The young, gay males here, they're taught they're going to hell, and there's a lot of them. They kill themselves. They don't count it properly because they don't want that tarnish on the Mormon image. If it was counted properly, they changed it by law. It used to be that you had to report it. The undertaker had to sign off, and it had to be reported in the local newspapers. They changed the rules. They changed the laws. They've captured even that. So it doesn't show up as the suicide capital of the world. What is the suicide capital of the world? Saudi Arabia, the most repressed people on earth by us. 16 of the 19 were Saudis. Bin Laden? He's a Saudi elitist? What? Yeah, he's out of that family. He didn't do anything. No, he's on the team. Bin Laden did 9/11. Wow. Muhammad Atta and these guys, they were all Saudis. You think they like being repressed? How did they be able to? The Saudi family took them over? How's it called Saudi Arabia? It was a family named Saudis? Yeah. How do they hold power? By the sword. step out of line, they kill you. They stone their women to death still. That's what they want to do here. Utah, etc., the Utah Taliban. That's what they do here. They kill their youth. The youth commit suicide. They smashed all of education. They blew up the giant Buddha yesterday. I'm not kidding. I've been so heartbroken. I've been able to sleep the last 3 or 4 nights. They promised me they would redo the release off the front. They didn't do it. It is corruption. Hardcore corruption. It says, yeah, written into it, we're going to take it off brick by brick. You saw how they took it. They just exploded it. They're rewriting history. And there's no one here to defend us. No one. They captured our universities. They captured it all. They captured literature. They captured art. That's what freaking fascists do. That's what religious, fundamentalist, radical, insane fuckers do. That's what America's turned into, Operation Foxconn. White males in hairspray who know nothing about, you ask them about anti-war, they'll go on this rant about drug addicts and porn. I doubt he ever did drug his whole life. They don't even know who he is. They don't know any of this. It's so outrageous. It's so sad. 18 trillion in ruling debt. A debtor nation. The average work week is 65 hours when it was 40. No protectionism? Oh, you protectionists. Ayn Rand. You've got political forces that are quoting Ayn Rand as a philosophy. Quoting Ayn Rand as an economic philosopher, as economic theory. You're using it in practice. Alan Greenspan and Ayn Rand was never an economist. Never. Never claimed to be. Science fiction writer. L. Ron Hubbard is who she was. I mean, those are science fiction books. Science fiction. Lock, stock, barrel. They've captured the marine biology departments. They've captured all of academia. Every agency. You're really going to believe the last thing from the FDA did. I was in D.C. Walked up right to the Department of Monsanto. It's like the far-right lunatic radicals when they tried to put a tax on trades to bail us out of this. Try to put a tariff to bail us out of this. This is the tariff nation. Oh, no, we're free marketers, Ayn Rand told me. Atheist from Leningrad, Stalingrad, a counterculturist, a science fiction writer. That's who the far right, that is their darling. Rand Paul, Ayn Rand Paul, a cartoon character. Wow. It's ignorance. Walk around. And if you don't believe me, I want you to walk around. And just simply, these are politically motivated people. Politically motivated. We hate Congress, impeach Obama, who's your congressman? Have no idea. What's the difference between a congressman and a senator? Have no idea. Who's your 2 senators? Name 2 Supreme Court justices. No idea. This is a system. This is a system. If you don't think this system, you just want to turn it in. And I hear people all the time, they just want to turn it. Everybody do whatever they want. 320 million of them. Anarchists. Wow. Well, that's how the feudal system works. That's what we're capacity turning into. So the biggest army rules. No laws. There's no laws. I used to call the Attorney General here and I'd say, hey, which laws are you enforcing? What's legal today? Rape, murder, all these things legal today? You pick and choose. It's against a lot of illegals, so-called illegals. Don't you love how they call them illegals? It's not their fault. They're being exploited. They can't defend themselves. It's the very people that are bitching about it. The very people that call the whole far right has lock, stock, barrel, drank into a fascist philosophy. Anti-art, anti-gay, anti-all of it. We'll continue this conversation on Thursday. Come out of your dogma snuggies. We are a debtor nation. We're broke. We're bankrupt. Morally, psychologically, artistically. This is the Utah Taliban, the American Taliban, Operation Foxconn. You've been had, fuckers. Stay tuned.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Twin gate,